stop. Start, check 1, 2. All right, I think I got it. Hello everyone and welcome to this free immigration help channel. All right, now I promised to be live at 6 p.m. and I am just now logging in. Very sorry about that. Took me a while to figure out this live streaming. This is only me second time doing it. But I will keep this window going so that you can drop all of your comments in there, all of your questions, whatever you have. I will be happy to answer them in the live. But I will have this window right here open for me as well. With your previous questions that you have asked in the comments. So let's get straight into it. Let's see. Okay, so the first two are thank you. You guys very welcome. The question from Rens82. My dad's B2 extension approved for another 6 months. I-94 expires in November. Can I apply it again to extend it another 6 months? Yes, Rens82, your dad can definitely apply for another extension. There are no limitations on how many times you can apply for the extension of your visa. It really depends on the circumstances and it depends on the reason. So as long as your dad has a good reason to extend his visa, you guys should be fine. There's not a problem at all. One thing I wanted to mention here is please apply as soon as you can because it's already October 23rd. Right now, immigration, they're swamped with extension, especially extension applications. So you want to make sure you apply beforehand. Okay, let's move on to the next question from Saif Ali. Can I apply for a green card after I have my work permit? Now that question was asked on how to apply for work permit in USA. So Saif, basically, whenever it comes to applying for a green card, it really depends on the circumstances if you meet the criteria for the green card. Just because you have a work permit, the EAD, which is the employment authorization document, does not mean that you meet the criteria for green card. So it's a little bit different. I recommend you check out my video that I did on applying for a green card, and there I talk a little bit about the requirements and especially the instructions that you can get on uscis.gov, where you can find all of the requirements and criteria that you need to meet in order to apply for a green card. Let's move on to the next question. All right, that looks kind of long. There we go. I am from Morocco. That's from our choice. Okay, I am from Morocco, 21 years. My parents are separated when I was a child and lived with my mother's family. They were beat me for no reason. Sorry to hear that. But after 12 years, I moved in with my mom. I still living with her so many times. I went to a neurologist. We're living in a small, unclean apartment. Because I'm gay and Christian, in secret, I can't love my life free. Just I want to live my life, nothing else. Really need your help. I can't stay in this country. If you want, can send you some videos where I am living, please. Our choice. Very sorry to hear your story. I completely understand how you feel. You know, I worked with a lot of immigrants who went through similar situations, similar scenarios. Now, whenever it comes to, because you commented on the asylum interview video, obviously you're referring to, you know, persecution based on certain, belonging to a certain group, and you definitely do meet the criteria to apply for, in your case, refugee status, because in order for you to apply for the asylum, you actually have to be in the country in order to apply for to have the asylum case going. So because you are not in the United States of America, you would be applying for a refugee status. Now, for every country, unfortunately, I cannot tell you 100% what and how you're supposed to approach this, because for every country it is different. There are certain different requirements and different criteria, I guess I can say, that you have to meet in order to be able to apply for a refugee status. All of it is done through the embassy, United States Embassy in your country. So I would recommend highly going to their website, not just any general website, but specifically for the United States Embassy in Morocco, and seeing and checking out what kind of refugee programs, because usually they have specific programs for certain types of individuals. This would be the best thing that you can do. Unfortunately, there aren't really a lot of immigration specialists or practitioners, for example, like myself, who is not an immigration attorney, and even immigration attorneys that will be able to be of much of a help in your case, because like I said, for every country it's really country specific. But the best source of the information would be US Embassy website in Morocco. So I wish you good luck figuring this out, and if I can be of any kind of help or anything else, do not hesitate to ask more questions on any of the videos, because that's how I go through all of the questions. So whichever video you comment on, I will see it. Alright, so let's move on to the next question from Aida Rees. Hi, I applied already I-539, which is the visa extension, by the way, and I have already received. And to make sure that I don't get trouble in immigration, I call USAS if I can stay in US while waiting for the results. Even my visa expired in this coming November, and she said it's okay to stay while waiting the results of my case, but just want to make sure. Do I get risk to stay after my visa expires? Thanks in advance. That's a great question, Aida. So yes, you can definitely stay, right, and wait until the results of your extension request. However, you are definitely running a risk of getting in trouble in case your extension is not approved, denied, in other words, right? In case if your extension is denied and you have overstayed your visa, that might cause you trouble if you are planning to come back here in the future and apply for another visa back in your country. So to people with similar situations like you are, I always say, if you have an option, if you have applied for the extension and your visa did not expire yet, your entry visa, not the the duration of stay, basically. Whenever you're coming in, there are two types of visas. There is one visa that you get in the embassy, US Embassy in your home country. You come in with that visa, and then you get another visa that indicates how long you can stay in the United States of America, and usually it is 6 months. This is the visa that we should be looking at, not your first visa that you got from the embassy, because that's two completely different things. Now, if your visa, the visa that you got in the airport, not in the US Embassy back in your home country, if that visa expires really soon and you're not sure whether you're gonna hear the reply back from stop streaming. Alright, I think something happened with my internet, but we will see if it comes back on. Alright, I think I am back online now. Sorry about that, guys. Had a little bit of a problem with the internet, but I am back on. Okay, so like I was saying, Aida Rees, regarding your extension application, if you have a chance to go back home without waiting for the extension to be approved and not risking it being denied, do that. If you have no other options, then obviously you have no other options. So you have to stay and wait for the decision about your application for the extension. All right, let's move on to the next question from Grace Alatum. This is very helpful. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. I am on F1 visa, which is the student visa, and applied for OPT after that. My OPT got expired in June 28, 2020. Do you recommend me to apply for extend my current status, OPT, or for the reinstatement? I'm going back to school sooner or later. For the reinstatement, how much money should I have in my bank account for the evidence? Thanks a lot. Okay, that's a very good question, very specific. Here's the thing, whenever it comes to the extension of F1 visa here in this particular case, you have to make sure that in no point in time you have been here on an expired duration of stay, right? So if you had F1, obviously you have all of your, all student documents and everything like that. And once you graduate, you finish your school, now it's either you have a little bit more time, your visa is valid, because sometimes it's given, most of the times it's given for 1 year. So you either have a little bit of time there, or a lot of times it's ending before you actually change. So for anyone who's planning, if you guys, whoever's watching, if you are on a student visa and you're planning to do some sort of extension, make sure you're doing it at least 3 months before graduating your school. So you have extra 3 months on applying, on doing extensions. Now in this case, for Gaith, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the name correctly, it's a little bit tricky because we don't know if he still, or he, I think, or she, sorry, it's really, can't tell by the picture, can't tell by the name. If the person has currently a valid, in a valid status, right, currently. So that's one of the things I would concentrate. And if they are, yes, you can definitely apply for the OPT, it's fine. Or you can definitely do the reinstatement, which probably will be a more expensive option. And whenever it comes to having money in the bank account, it's different from school to school. It's a really good question, but it's really different from school to school because it depends on many factors. Like, for example, the price of the tuition, the price of the dorm if you're living in the on campus, so all of these things. So that would be a question to the school of how much money you need to show on the bank account. All right, let's move on to the next question from Suzanne. Hi, my husband got H1B approved, which is a work visa, on 5th of October. We thought his employer will be filling my H4, which is dependent, but they denied and asked us to deal ourselves. Now we wanted to file ASAP, which we are already crossed 12 days. Am I too late to file H4 application? Am I out of status? Can I file online or should I contact lawyer? Will it be any issue if I apply as if I'm out of status until I get approval of H4? Does 240 days applies for me as well after the F2 status expired? Please help us. Thank you. Okay, Suzanne, so your question is, I do need a little bit more information because at the end of this you do mention that you have the F2, which is the student dependent visa. So I am assuming, I might be wrong, but what it seems to me like your husband had a F1 visa, so he was going to school here in the United States of America, student visa, and then he was hired by a company, in which case looks like he did, congratulations, and got the H1B visa. Now H1B visa is a work visa that is sponsored by the employer, which means that it is the employer that fills out the applications and immigration and then sends in to here and there, one of them Department of Labor, obviously to immigration. Now, as part of H1B, usually you fill out the information regarding the dependents. You can't really just do someone and not mention, because obviously in the application you specify whether the person is married or not, if their spouse is in the United States of America or not. It's very important. So this kind of tells me that the employer who did all of this is not very, I guess, friendly or good overall in general, because didn't really pay attention. So I would recommend. The thing is, if you reach out to a lawyer or an immigration lawyer, which I think you should in this particular case, because sounds like you're already out of status. So it's a little bit of a serious situation. So I think reaching out to an immigration lawyer would be definitely good in this case. But however, I wanted to warn you a little bit is that if you do reach out to an immigration lawyer most likely will have to reach out to the employer, because it is the employer who does filing for all of these whenever it comes to working visa, because they are the ones sponsoring the foreign worker and you are the dependent of the foreign worker. You're supposed to be part of the application, and that kind of might cause a little bit of a trouble. So I think the best course would be reach out to an immigration attorney, a few of them, have a few free consultations, talk to them, see what they recommend, and at the same time have your husband have a conversation with the employer, whether the manager, supervisor, or somebody higher. Maybe the manager is not very helpful, but maybe somebody else will be more helpful, and kind of explain them the situation and what's going on, because a little bit of confusion going on here. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Good luck with that, by the way, Suzanne. Hopefully that will resolve. Let me quickly check to see if there are any live. No live questions yet. If you guys have any questions, you can drop them right here in this live chat, and I will be happy to answer. I'll be getting back to them. All right, let's get back to the questions. So, from Ivan Pereira. All right. I did not receive my parents' appointment letter for biometric, which was scheduled a week ago for I-539. So I want to request another copy with reschedule. But the receipt number became errors. What should I do? Okay, so in your situation, I would definitely contact USAS immediately, call their customer support number. If you have a chance to schedule an InfoPass appointment, do that as well. Now, from what you are saying, it sounds like you know somehow that the biometric appointment was scheduled a week ago. If you did not receive the appointment letter, I have a question. How did you know that it was scheduled a week ago? Because that's a little bit confusing. But what else you can do is you can find the nearest USAS application support center, and they're the ones who do those biometric appointments, and you can go there and tell them that there was this biometric appointment letter notification sent to you and you didn't get it, and see if they can just do biometrics for you, pull up the information by the receipt number or by the alien registration number, because I've seen them do that even without the appointment letter, and even when the person is late for their appointment. So do that, definitely do that. Okay, so let's go back to Suzanne. Looks like she has another question. So she says, hi, my husband got H-1B visa approved on 6th of October. We didn't know about my filings. Now we wanted to file a SAP. But am I too late to file H4 application, or should I contact lawyer? We are worried as of today, 10 days late already. Yeah, so from this question now, that you are definitely late. So you definitely do want to contact an attorney, because it's a little bit of a sensitive matter. You don't want to ever be late. You don't want to be out of status. Okay, let's move on to the question from Raja. Hi, I am in B2 visitor visa at present in the US. Applied for extension due to COVID situation. Received case number, but no BM appointment received. Biometrics appointment. We have plans to leave this month, and my case is still pending. Will it affect my future visit? Great question, Raja. I'm really glad you asked that. Here's the thing. If your duration of stay, right, the visa that you got in the airport, which is typically given for 6 months, if that one is still valid, that is completely fine. You can definitely leave the country without waiting for the response regarding the extension. If it is approved, that's fine. Well, it's approved, you have another, but you already left. No problems. If it's denied, well, that's fine. No problems, because you did not overstay your duration of stay. However, if you already overstayed your duration of stay, I would highly recommend waiting for that extension application to whether tell you if you're approved or not. Now, if you're not approved for some whatever reason, right, which you shouldn't be, because sounds like you have a very good reason. A lot of people do these days, considering the situation. But if it is denied for whatever reason, obviously you overstayed your extension and now you're leaving the country, not good. But if you don't wait for it and you leave the country overstayed, again, in the airport, whenever you're leaving, whenever you're going to go through the customs and border patrol, they will look at your duration of stay. They will see that you overstayed your stay. Again, not good. So again, if your duration of stay is good, that's fine, you can leave without waiting. But if you overstayed already, I would recommend waiting for the extension of stay and hope that it is approved. All right, let's move on to the next question. Hello, if I want to e-sign my I-539 form online, should I simply enter my full name as it appears on my passport, or do I need to do anything else? Okay, so in absolutely, here's the thing, if you're filling out the application for the extension of stay, if you're doing it online and you're entering, that final signature, if that's what you're referring to. If you're doing it through USCIS website, you're filling out the online application through USCIS website, if this is what you're referring to, then yes, simply enter your full name as it appears in your passport. That's it. But under no circumstances you get the PDF application from USCIS and fill it out on the computer and then try to e-sign it somehow through programs like Adobe e-sign or something like that. Don't ever do that. You have to actually print it out, you have to sign it by hand and then mail it. So just making sure so that all right, let's move on further. So Omair Nabil, thanks for creating helpful videos. You are very, very welcome. Looks like for a few of them. Let's see. Question from Eric Mohawk 182. Can I change a B1 B2 to TD? Now, Eric, you will have to be more specific a little bit what TD is. Now, B1 B2, I'm aware it's tourist visitor's visa, but never heard the TD before, so need some more information on that. Let's move on to the next one. Mike, Mexico. Would you file this document along with the I-130 family petition document, or do you wait and file this I-765 later? Okay, so he commented on how to apply for work permit in USA. Now, whenever it comes to applying for work permit, it doesn't really have to do anything with I-130 family petition, because that's what I-130 is. So I'm not sure, can't really understand the question, but no, you don't need to do, as far as I can tell, depending on the circumstances, but as far as I can tell, if you're applying for work permit, you're applying for work permit. It has nothing to do with family petition. Okay, let's move on to the next question from Lisa Zulalian. So, have an originally that needs 2 copies of a visa. Okay, so you have an original that needs 2 copies of a visa, a birth certificate, evidence, basically everyone, and 2 copies for, again, of everything for the second package. Then for wife and children, add all my info in 2s. I'm confused. And it also asks for 3 copies of birth and marriage certificate for all 5 packages. Nope, you don't sound confused. That's exactly what you're doing. Whenever you're applying for the asylum, you're sending the paper applications. Currently, there is no option, as far as I know, there's no option to apply online for asylum. You're mailing a full package of applications, and that's a lot of stuff. Yes, that's a lot of stuff. A lot of copies for each family member, for each child. Yes, family member as well. But yes, you definitely need to do all of that. The instructions for I-539, not the I-539, sorry, the application, the asylum application, whatever the I for that is, Got out of my head. But the instructions for that form, they specifically tell you how many copies you need for you as a petitioner and for each dependent as well. Make sure to follow those and you will do just fine. Alright, so let's move on to the next. Looks like again from Lisa Zulalian. I'm confused with how many copies to be sent. Nope, you're correct. What you listed, you're definitely correct. That's how much copies you need to send. So you're good. Don't worry. Just do that and you'll be just fine. Let's move on to the next question from Emmanuel. Not even going to pronounce the first one. Why am I not getting that I-485 form? It doesn't appear on my application list forms. Now that is how to apply for a green card video, and I-485 is the application. So let's take a look and see if we are able to get one of those forms, the I-485. Now, in order to pull up the forms, it's good we got the question regarding the forms actually, so I can show you. It's uscis.gov, and then you click on forms, and that's where you get all of the forms. All forms are right here, and we are looking for I-485 application to register permanent residence or adjustment of status. Here it is, right here. So try again. It's definitely right there. All right, let me double check, see if somebody actually asked the comment. Somebody said, "Чувак, усынови меня." All right, let's go. Ask the questions. Thank you for your comments, but ask the questions. All right, so let's move back to the comments. All right, Jennifer Nat, thank you so much for your videos. I just checked mine. Thanks a lot. May God bless you. God bless you too. Thank you very much. All right, let's move on to the next one. AJT. It's regarding immigrants and taxes. All right, finally I got a little bit of something new here. All right. I got the green card in September 2019. Congratulations. Do I need to file returns for 2019? I did not work in USA till December 2019, but had income from my home country. Do I need to file the return on my income in home country for 3 months from September to December 2019? Do I also need to file FBAR Form 114 for 2019 in my assets exceeds 10,000 on December 31st, 2019? Great question. So no, you don't need to file taxes for all the income that you're doing in your home country, because the income that you make, right, that you receive in your country, that's where you will pay the taxes, if there are taxes on the income in whatever country you're making the money, which most of the times there are, right? It would be great if there weren't, but whatever you make the income, whatever country, that's where you pay the taxes. Now, let's see. I did not work in USA till December 2019. So if you started working in December 2019 and only worked for 1 month, depending on what kind of income you have, whether it is 1099 income or whether it is W-2 income, or payroll, yes, you will have to file the taxes in 2020, by April 2020. Well, they extended it because of all the pandemic stuff, but yes, typically it's by April of the next year, and you would need to show the income that you made here in the United States of America during this December month that you worked. But that's really it. And do I also need to file FBAR Form 114 for 2019 if my assets exceed $10,000 on December 31st, 2019? Again, it really depends. Kind of hard to tell. Which assets are you referring to? Are you referring to assets from your home country or here? If you are referring to your home country, no. And here, you don't really need to do that because, again, if you only work December, and keep that in mind. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Is from Abdul Aziz. Okay. I need information about I-131A. My I-551 stamp expired while I'm outside due to COVID-19 and no flight. I'm stuck Africa right now. What I should do? I should do? I guess, do I file my I-751 already? Now, I-131 is the application for travel document. And looks like this person, he had the travel document and he traveled outside of the United States of America. And because of the flights that got messed up due to COVID, he's stuck outside somewhere. Now, you can file the extension for the travel document, and it's all done through the embassy, US embassy in the country where you are right now. I'm sure because of these circumstances that are going on right now in the world, you can definitely do that and it's not going to be a problem. Yes, I highly recommend filing it as soon as possible, however. And again, in some situations where even when you have a problems like this and you overstayed, because if you actually read through the instruction of I-131, it clearly says there that I-131 does not really guarantee you entry into the United States, which means that they go through each case on the case basis. Yes, case by case, right? So they look at the circumstances, and in circumstances like yours, obviously that they understand that you left the country and you got stuck there against your own will, against, you didn't plan to do that, you didn't want to do that, but you got because of the circumstances. So you might not have that much of a trouble. But nevertheless, I would recommend applying anyway, checking in with US Embassy in Africa and seeing what you can do right now. Alright, let's move on to the next one. From Sadweep, thank you, this really helped me, you're very welcome. Comunidad de Fe y Esperanza. If the beneficiary has a wife, do I need to fill out another form I-129 for her? Now I-129 is the petition for non-immigrant worker. Basically, you remember how we talked about the H-1B visa, foreign worker. It's whenever if you are an employer, that's what you will fill out, the I-129. If you want to hire a foreign worker, that's the form that you're going to fill out. Now, to answer this particular question, I don't remember right out of the bat in the application, in I-129 application, if there is a place for the dependent, for the spouse, to put in there, and if it asks whether they want the dependent status or not. If there is, I think there should be. If there is, then yes, definitely just put it there. So it's one form, and whatever the required documents are, most likely it's going to be the marriage certificate. That's it. But if there isn't, then yes, definitely make sure that there is an application specifically as a dependent for their spouse, because you don't want to have them left out without the status because of it. All right, let me quickly check on your comments in the live section. Nothing yet. All right, if you guys have, whoever's watching, if you have any questions, immigration related questions, you can drop them here. I guess it right there, whatever side. All right, let's move on to the next question from Brian Lopez. Regarding the selective service, something new. What if I was born in the US, but I got the selective service form? What do I do then? Should I still fill it out? Now that's a very good question, because typically you do get the selective service form as an immigrant. I know for a fact, because I'm an immigrant myself. Once you get your social security number, or you do something with the Social Security Administration, maybe you applied for a social security card, you will get that form to fill out for the selective service, right? But if you are born in the US and you got the form, I would check with the selective service system, see if you are already registered. Maybe you are. If you're not, then yes, just like the video explains, man, certain age, they have to be registered. So if you're still not registered, then yes, go ahead and do that. But you can check to see on the website. All right, so let's move on to the next question from New Mexico Joe. Hey, thanks for the informative video. I still have a question. I have a few questions regarding the I-130 for my wife. I'm a US citizen and she is a citizen of Kosovo. She was in the US on a J1 visa, which is the exchange visitor visa, back in 2012. So I'm looking at part 4 question 47 and wondering if it's asking for her passport number for her old passport that she entered with, or with her new passport that we got since we've got married and she changed her name. Also, even though we mostly live together in Kosovo, I work abroad in Iraq. So my next question pertains to part 2, question 43, 43A, 43H. My employer is a US company based in Virginia, so I am unsure if I should enter their main address there, or the address for the location in Iraq where I work. Please help. Okay, great questions. Now, to answer your first question really quickly, I don't remember the form right out of the bat, which part 4 question 47, but if the application is referring to the information regarding the entry stuff, entry into the United States and stuff like that, then yes, you probably want to put the passport information that she had back when she was coming into the country here. Now, if it's related to just the current information, then yes, you should definitely put the new passport information, whatever it is, just name, the serial number, everything, expiration date. That's really it. Nothing much to it. And regarding the second question, I don't think there will be a problem with either of the addresses that you put in. Probably would be better to put the US-based address in Virginia, however. Probably would make things much easier. Alright, let me answer one more question for today and then we will wrap it up. I'll see if there are any more questions in our live stream. Nothing yet. If you guys want to ask questions still, I'll be answering one more question and I'll check on this once again. So if you do have anything, let me know. But the last question of today is, let's go. So from Comunidad de Fe y Esperanza, again, on the video I-129. If the beneficiary has a wife, do I need to fill out another form? Okay, so that we already answered. And this one we already answered actually. This is the one. So, Bugal Berhanu, regarding the I-539 extension of stay. I have a question. I came in the USA on November 1st, 2019. Alright, so it's almost a year now, as a visitor. I have applied to extend my stay in the US due to COVID-19 last March and accepted my request. Then I'm here in the US so far. Is it possible to extend again? Yes, very easy. You can definitely extend your visa, and looks like we have comment from John Shane who says, hey buddy, how long did it take for you to get an answer from them? I'm still awaiting for mine since May. Yes, unfortunately currently it takes a lot right now. Usually it takes about 3 months, but now it looks like it takes about 6 months because of the amount of applications due to this pandemic stuff. The flights are closed. But to answer Bogali Berhanu question, yes, you can definitely apply for the extension again. It's considering the circumstances. Although I would, he asked it 3 weeks ago. But yes. If you're listening to this right now, definitely do this as soon as possible. You don't want to wait. And for the future, typically, at least allow a whole month before applying. But right now, considering that there are such delays, I would even recommend doing it 3 months. So, thank you very much guys for joining in today for this live answering questions. I will be trying to do this at least once a week to go through all of your questions because I receive a lot of them and answer all of them. So if you have any questions, definitely drop them in comments and whatever. You can do it here or you can do it on the main board of the channel. Thank you very much guys for joining in, and I'll see you guys in the next video.